Alert Weather Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus. WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is committed to your safety with 6 hours of continuous team coverage.
This is a relentless storm, Dave.
We're fortunate we all made it out alive.
And our network of sky cams across the state alerting you to danger, bringing you live footage of tornadoes as they touch down in Wathau County.
Look at this, Chase. Guys, look at that.
This is ground zero almost. I mean, this is really hard to stomach, like I said.
We take our commitment to being on your side seriously, and together we're Mississippi Strong. Weekdays, stream First Alert Weather Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
WLBT's First Alert Weather Team is keeping you up to date with the latest information. From your morning commute to your afternoon drive, we're on your side, streaming on your favorite devices. WLBT First Alert Weather Plus.
Anyway,
All right. Hello, we're back.
We're back. Happy First Alert Weather Day, Monday, and
Yay.
Thanksgiving week. Yay. There are good things in this forecast.
There's
too.
something to look forward to,
Mhm.
you know.
Maybe not looking forward to so much that stormy weather that's now starting to overtake parts of Shreveport. No, not seeing many warnings there, but there are warnings ongoing in East Texas. And unfortunately, we are expecting to see severe storms as we go through the overnight hours tonight.
Yes. So we are expecting that right now, just some light, moderate showers, nothing too crazy. And that's pretty much what it's going to be with this first batch. We aren't really expecting that severe weather to really move in until later tonight, I would say. Anywhere between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. That will be the highest likelihood of seeing strong storms. Not to say that we couldn't see any out of that time frame, but that's when ingredients looks best to see any of these severe storms. And unfortunately, all modes of severe weather will be possible, and that does include the potential for some tornadoes.
Yeah, so from now until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning is when we're going to continue this First Alert Weather Day. Again, there's not anything happening just yet. You've still likely got somewhere between 4 and 6 hours before we really see any kind of severe weather pushing in. While we'll have some of those on and off showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, the worst of the weather is still looking like it's going to be closer to that 10 p.m. to maybe even until 4 a.m. time frame. The latest runs of this have it lingering, hanging out with us for really much longer than I would like for it to.
Yeah.
I, of course, wouldn't like to see any severe weather. I'm thankful we're getting some rain, but keep in mind that we also have the chance to see flash flooding because all modes of severe weather are possible with this. So midnight to 1 o'clock tomorrow morning is when we might expect to start seeing some severe storms in the area. This is actually just updated because this looks different than it did in my First Alert forecast at 6. So this is taking on a much more of a linear shape as it pushes through. We don't have as much noise, I would call it.
And it's also slowed down a little bit because I mean, you were just showing it into the metro by 2. This doesn't even look like it's in the metro until about not even maybe 3. It looks to have slowed down just a little bit. So with that being said, we may see a little bit more impacts to tomorrow morning's commute just because things are lingering, hanging out with us. However, I will say the severe threat does look to diminish later on tomorrow morning and into the rest of your Tuesday. So there is that. But that's not to say we couldn't see any kind of thunderstorm activity as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning. It just may not be as widespread as we'll see later tonight and in the early morning hours tomorrow.
Yeah. So again, take this with a grain of salt because this model is updating frequently and trying to get a grasp of what the system's doing right now. It does have that linear shape right now, but there are a few things kind of popping up nearby that it's not really picking up on as much. So there's still a chance that we see some random severe storms maybe ahead of the main line. If nothing else, they will at least have some heavy downpours.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we will have decent tornado energy across the area.
Yeah, and as of right now, it does look like areas west of I-55, at least for the beginning of this time frame, could see the heaviest of these severe storms. But as the night goes on and into early tomorrow morning, we start to see that shift again along with that line moving. So that energy is still going to be around in the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. And then eventually we will start to see things improve. Although, again, this is our newest run. It does look like it's hanging out a little bit longer into that 4 a.m. time frame. And then things start to really improve by, I would say, mid to late morning and then continuing into the afternoon. But with all modes of severe weather possible, the highest likelihoods are still looking like damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour, maybe even a little bit higher, and flash flooding. However, we could see hail up to a quarter in size and, again, a few brief tornadoes.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be keeping a close eye on for you through the overnight tonight. After we get done with that, things are going to improve dramatically and quickly heading into the rest of this week. By Tuesday night, we're cooling off very fast. We're going to head out the door on Wednesday in the upper 40s to low 50s. Wednesday afternoon, we will struggle to make it to 60. And then by Thanksgiving Day, it's going to be cold, jacket weather in the morning, and
so frosty
chilly
weather potentially.
Yeah, frosty. Listen, that'll put you in the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
And we look to stay pretty cool for the rest of our forecast because we are expecting a relatively active pattern. There are not very many details on our next system because there's not great agreement, but we do expect to see rain heading into Saturday and Sunday. So this coming weekend, along yet another cold front pushing into the area. It looks like maybe some snow well to our north.
Yes.
None of that for us.
No, we're not throwing that out there.
Don't get too excited.
And I will say, with it staying a little bit colder, I think that also may hinder severe potential. Obviously, can't completely rule out anything, but I think that will help because usually when we see warmer days and things like that, that usually indicates more energy around, if you will, to not put it as scientifically. But if it's not as warm, not as much energy around to pick up on. But that's not to say that it could still be a little bit wet this weekend, but we really do need the rain because we went almost the entire month of November without seeing it. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're going to be traveling back from the holidays. But it looks like we're going to be, again, in a little bit of an active weather pattern going into next week.
So some nice changes on the way. We've got some people asking some questions in the chat that we are happy to answer here. Seth Ashland is here. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
We have been better. But that's okay. Yeah. Debbie Welch wants to know about Pike County in Summit, Mississippi. Debbie, the latest model runs don't look like there's going to be very much going on. As you go further south toward Pike County, it looks like a lot of the action is going to be essentially along and north of the Natchez Trace. So that is going to include the metro area, which is where most people watch from, where a lot of people are, of course, and along the Mississippi River. But as you go further to the south and east, that's not to say that you won't see any of the bad weather, but it just doesn't look as impressive because this newest run has this system falling apart relatively quickly once we get to about 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go through this very slowly. So I know a lot of people have are asking about specific areas. So you can kind of pick out where you are located and take that with what you will. But this is by around 10 o'clock going into after about that 10 o'clock period, we start to see things go downhill a little bit, especially along the Mississippi River. This is just after midnight. Again, areas along and north of the I-20 corridor. We'll probably see this a little bit sooner than others a little further south. Again, this line starting to move in. Between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. That's where we start to see more impacts near Madison, into Hinds County, also into Rankin County. Sorry, that went a little bit fast. But yeah, so I would say after about 4 or 5 o'clock or so, we start to see things break apart. Still can't completely rule it out tomorrow morning to impact your morning commute, but not going to be as widespread compared to earlier on in the day. And then things really start to fall apart by the lunch hour.
Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful to you. It will stay up on our First Alert Weather Facebook page. So if you have a question or you want to see timing for your county, keep in mind that this model will change. So if you tune in with me on WLBT News at 10 o'clock tonight, we will likely have some activity going on, and what the future of the system looks like could potentially change. But until we get there, you can look that up on our free First Alert Weather app, and you can rewatch this video. So we're not going to go to everybody's county by county question, but yeah,
sorry,
Savannah,
that just made me giggle.
I actually thought it was funny too. I'm going to tell y'all. Savannah Simpson said, "Are we talking strong tornadoes or spinny minis?" Which is a hilariously cute name.
Yeah, I kind of like not the concept behind
the concept, but
the wording.
Yeah, the wording is funny. I haven't heard that before.
I don't. You can't necessarily say like we won't see that.
We're not expecting to see multiple long track tornadoes from this system. But I was telling Ashley earlier, when we get the ingredients in this kind of fashion and our risk is relatively on the lower end, we tend to have more severe storms. They typically have mostly damaging wind gusts, which we are expecting to see. We will likely have a couple of tornadoes pop up, but I would expect them to be relatively brief. And typically those tornadoes don't get stronger than about an EF1.
Yeah, rarely an EF2. But yeah, when we talk about these lines, it's what is embedded in those lines that could produce a brief tornado, or spinny minis, as Savannah says. Spinny minis. But yeah, we're not really talking about a severe weather outbreak necessarily, but a few tornadoes can't be ruled out. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. And then Birdman she said frosty.
We're excited about the frosty too.
We're excited about the frosty weather. That is what we like. We like jacket weather in November.
We do.
Thank you. So again, we've got a lot of people asking their specific area. I will just say the threat is essentially the same for everyone. It looks slightly more likely along and north of the Natchez Trace at this point. That's not to say that you won't see severe weather south and east of the Natchez Trace, but the further south and east you go, it looks like things may be a little bit quieter with maybe not as much going on. So yeah. And then any other questions?
Someone asked about snow. No snow in the forecast right now.
No. I saw the crazy post when people take those screen grabs of a model run.
That was
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And it happens one time. It's a fluke.
Yeah.
So until there's consistency and we are 1 day out, I wouldn't bet on any snow in central Mississippi. It is so finicky here.
I agree.
And it takes a lot for us to actually see it hit the ground and stick.
Considering we were in the 80s for quite a long period of time. I'm from up north, and when we have those kinds of days, the ground is so warm that even if it did, nothing would stick to it. So take with that what you will, but we're not too worried about that for right now. More focused on what's going to happen tonight. If we need to, we may jump back on here if we have time.
Yeah, if we've got some stuff going on that maybe isn't quite at the threshold for us to cut into programming, we'll leave this up and we may get back on here. Jaden Wells says, can you please do Lawrence County? Again, Lawrence County, south and east of the Natchez Trace, it looks like maybe things will be a little bit quieter there, but everybody has the same potential to see at least severe thunderstorms with some damaging wind gusts. And then Angela Gilliam wants to know how many inches of rain are we thinking north of I-20? With how it looks right now, 1 to 3. There's over the next 7 days, we're expecting to see somewhere between 2 and 5 inches of rain across most of the area. A bulk of that, especially north of I-20, will likely fall tonight.
Yeah.
These downpours look like they are going to be pretty heavy. And if that system is moving as slowly as it looks like it might be moving now, then that is where we'll run into that potential for flash flooding too. Yeah. And then when is the sun coming out again? Wednesday. Tuesday afternoon, maybe.
Yeah.
Once that dry, cool air starts to filter in. But definitely Wednesday and into Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving holiday looks pretty good. So... Well, we'll leave it there. We'll leave this up for you guys. If you you came in late, you can always comment more questions. We'll try to answer them. But yeah, make sure to tune in later tonight with Elise. We'll have more updates on tonight's weather. We'll of course probably have more data too to tell you about. And if we need to break into programming, we will. So hopefully we won't have to do that, but be prepared just in case. So until then, we'll leave you with hopefully you have a good rest of your Monday.
Yeah. First alert weather day, cooler weather on the way.